All right. I am live. Got nobody on, and that's all right. I want to know if I can. Oh, perfect. I can share my screen. I just wanted to get on here and pop off about unserious people. Unserious people. There's this guy on Twitter. I like the content he puts out. Not her. Let's see if I can share my screen, hoping that nobody interrupts me, but my family don't care if you're trying to do something like this. Not at all. Okay, you can see it. Perfect. All right. This is my Twitter page. This person, they must, I don't know. All right. I want to actually look at, oh no. Why can I not see my interactions? I might have got in trouble because I was on here dropping.
Dad, there's a package that I have for you.
Please just leave it at the door. I'm literally in the middle of a stream. Please do not knock on my door again. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Something's going on with my Twitter. I don't know it's been acting funny. I dropped the Zionism thing a little bit, and and so I feel like I'm being restricted in some. Oh my goodness, did y'all see that? Whew, I didn't mean to be showing. I mean, that person posted that, but that felt like I wasn't supposed to see that. Anywho, let's see. Okay, I want to. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna search for this. I had this interaction with this liberal today, and I don't. It seems as if I'm being restricted in some way. I don't know what that's about. That's disappointing. Yeah, that is very disappointing. I don't know what's going on. It's telling me to upgrade to premium. As far as I knew, I was on premium, but yeah, nothing's showing up. That is bizarre. Anywho, I wanted to come on and talk about the diabolical Democrats, but unfortunately, nothing good is showing up. Oh, no one should go to jail for smoking weed. That's what Kamala Harris says now. This is somebody who enforced and put people away for weed, but now apparently she's had a come to Jesus moment. The come to Jesus moment is that black men, especially, are breaking from Kamala Harris, and so she's had to start to like show a little leg, via policy, actually try to appeal to us. And the best thing she thought to do is to say you shouldn't be jailed for smoking weed, and we're gonna look at some things. I don't know. I don't recall who this person is. Well, I don't know whether to say rest in peace or not, peace or not, because I don't know the character of that individual. So I will. I'm sure somebody is sad to see them go out, but I don't know enough about them. Doesn't ring a bell. So, oh boy, look at this. This is what the Zionists are up to. When they tell you who they are, believe them. I like this guy, Adam Media. But I was looking for a frenemy of mine, a guy that we followed each other because we were both fans of mixed martial arts. But then you start to realize, two black men, you two black, and the mixed martial arts community, it's not a big contingency of us that are black men. But we were found each other, and we followed each other for a while, and we realized, just policy based. We clash a lot because we just see the world vastly differently. And this morning he set me off because he was trying to smear Joe Stein by saying, "Oh, um, David Duke endorsed her," and he had all of the typical Democrat smears for Joe Stein. He showed a picture at one point of Joe Stein in Russia sitting at the table where Putin's at, and it was just like all the stuff that anybody who's a seasoned seasoned in the debating of politics has seen. Nothing new, nothing special, just the whole hum stuff. It actually very, very lazy, but it was terrible. Just terrible smears, and it's like, man, this is some really diabolical stuff. This guy really pissed me off today, and so I just want to quickly go through some of the things. It's unfortunate too because I'm looking and everything is showing up on my phone on my phone's Twitter page, but for whatever reason, it's not showing up on the computer. I think it's because I think they charge you differently if you subscribe for Twitter through your phone or if you do it through on the computer. So apparently, I don't have the goods when it comes to to Twitter on a computer. I might have to change something if I'm going to start doing a lot more of this stuff. Okay. This is tough. Yeah, it's not even worth me sharing this. You're not seeing the good stuff. But suffice it to say, he says, well, the first thing he says, he posts that picture of Joe Stein seated at a table where Putin joins, and he says, Joe Stein is no different than Trump. What's your evidence of this? And so I think I hit him with a retweet. I felt like I was killing the game here. If I can say so myself. I retweeted and showed a picture of Kamala with Bibi Netanyahu, and then this guy who's not too bright, honestly, shows a picture of Trump with Bibi Netanyahu, as if that's some kind of own of me. He's the one who made the statement that Joe Stein is no different than Trump. It's like these people are like so woefully propagandized. They just get into the mode of just saying anything about anyone. It's like when Trump called Kamala a Marxist, right? Which she couldn't be any further from, right? He does that. He did that in the debate. He called her a Marxist, and I've seen him say it other places that she's a Marxist. And in the debate, I found it particularly interesting that he called her a Marxist because he called her a Marxist right after accusing her of having stolen all of his policies. So it was like, are you a Marxist? Because if you're not a Marxist, how can you claim on the one hand that she stole all your policies and you almost thought about sending her a MAGA hat, and then on the other hand call her a Marxist? He should have stuck with the empty suit slander, which is I say slander, but the fact of the matter is true. This woman stands for absolutely nothing, and it's just been fleshed out. I mean, I was arguing with friends on Facebook, and they just went radio silent because it's like when you start to listen to her, it just melted away. Like the hope for her being any different than Biden melted right away, right? And we know Biden, Trump, these are birds of the same feather, right? So the idea that Joe Stein is not different than Trump is nonsense. Like this guy, every criticism that he had for Joe Stein applies to Kamala, but this guy is a liberal. And liberals and conservatives right now are in this mode of their candidate has to win. So pretty much say anything against anybody who would potentially be pulling voters away from their candidate, right? Essentially make them make or accuse any third parties of the things that your candidate that you favor is guilty of. And so that's what this unserious person was saying. This guy, Rathbone, he makes great content. He had this video about unserious people. If my Twitter online was working properly, I would show it, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. In fact, I should have pulled it up. Yeah, nothing's working. That is bizarre. Whew. Offensive. Offensive. But he talked. He does those videos where it's like you pretend like you're two different people, and he's like, this guy says like, he just has like this unserious person, pretty much going over some of the smears that Democrats have had for Joe Stein recently, right? Shows up every 4 years after having done nothing for 4 years, and the serious person is saying, "You mean like every Democrat and Republican that has ever run for president, right?" And he's like, "No," the unserious person, "No, Jill Stein." It was just like, what? He's costing us the election. You mean Kamala and her policies, right? No, Jill Stein. It's a funny. He does great content. I would follow him. His name is Rathbone, without like not spelled like Rath, but Rathbone. He's a cool guy, very smart. I've learned a lot watching his content. Man, I've been on here for almost 12 minutes and I haven't gotten to the first thing. So the smear was that David Duke offered an endorsement to Joe Stein. And this guy thought that, this is just like devastating for you. Somebody spoke out loud and said they endorsed Joe Stein. That must mean that she is David Duke now because David Duke endorsed her. Honestly, anybody with a brain would endorse the Green Party candidate. If you're an American and you believe that America should do what's in their own best interests, why would you not endorse anybody not named Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Because at the end of the day, every time you hear them speak, they're speaking about what they're going to do for other countries, for Israel mostly, for these other countries, like what they're going to do for everybody but Americans. And so why would you pick one of those, right? I keep on hearkening back to Malcolm X's Ballot or the Bullet speech, and how 64 years ago, he was chiding and making fun of blacks who were still voting for Democrats. 60 years ago, he was making these remarks. It's like when I listen to it, it almost sounds like I'm like, wait, except for the dates, and it's like you could almost take that exact same speech with just a few edits and it's applicable today. And it's just like, man, he talked about how, about black people, how, we put the Democrats first, they put us last, right? So, that's emblematic of the fact that Kamala just came out with a nonsense bone throwing to black men, to try to appeal to black men about decriminalizing weed and stuff, something for crypto, something for health, just some kind of stuff that they essentially cobble together because they're scrambling after Obama's criticism of black men for not supporting Kamala. After that went over like a wet fart in church, they figured they need to do something. They got to throw us a bone. And so that was like the best they could do, right? At the same time, she said stuff about, we're going to look at studying reparations, whether or not that's something. It's like the studies are out there. Like, if you're a candidate and you don't know about the studies, and if you haven't already formulated, it's really too late for you. You're really of no use. You have no plan on implementing it, and she has no plan on implementing anything. Honestly, her plan is just to be president, just to get her name in the history books. And for the most part, that's what a lot of liberals care about. That's all they care about. It's like, hey, man, we just want her to be president. There was a video a while back of somebody interviewing these people that were at the DNC and asking them about what of her policies were their favorite. And this one white guy, bless him, he told the truth. He said, the policy I like her most is her being president. Just and it's just like, yes. I saw, I'm trying to think if it was Stephen King. No, I think it was Jesse Ventura. Like, what happened to Jesse Ventura? I think he was like, man, I want to see a black woman be president in my life. I'm just like, Jesse Ventura. This person used to be so base, right? Didn't he win Minnesota's governorship as an independent, right? Was for the longest time considered like one of those third party people that could get traction just based on name value alone. And he never actually went for power to be a nominee. And it's just to have him like turn. It's like sometimes you be wondering, like, man, what does the CIA, what does whoever have on these people that they got them, being so good on so much for the majority of their adult lifetime, and to turn at the tender age of 70 something as a septuagenarian, and all of a sudden you're supporting like a neoliberal candidate for president. Like, what? Just based on her identity? It's like, this is nonsense. I saw something that was I want to share it. I don't necessarily, I don't disagree with this, but it's kind of mean. But this man, I saw this black man who was responding to by Obama's criticism of black men not supporting Kamala. He was like, why is that Kamala got to choose a white husband, but we can't choose a white candidate? And it's like, that's very mean. But honestly, it's the guys on the streets. Like, why do you get to just go out and like you get to choose who you marry, right? She wasn't bound, and nobody's holding it against her that she chose Doug Emhoff as her husband. But I'm obligated because we have the same skin complexion or close to it. Excuse me. To pick her as president, this is nonsense, right? I don't care about the color of her skin. I don't care about her gender. I care about her policies or lack of policies. I care that Democrats and Republicans look just alike. You cannot distinguish the one from the other. In fact, the Democrats since the Clintons in the 90s have been following Republicans, racing them to the right. Every time leftists criticize or are punching right, punching at those that oppose us, policy wise, we constantly are hitting Democrats because they move to the right. They move to the right. And so that's what I care about. I don't care about all, this nonsense. But I find that the Democrats, they're getting desperate. Kamala must be losing bad in internal polling, which they would never share with the electorate, because that David Duke smear was just diabolical. It was diabolical, and this guy, just this normie MMA fan that we follow each other on Twitter, he thought that this would be devastating to bring up to me that, David Duke endorser. And so when he sent that, I retweeted that with a picture of Kamala and Liz Cheney right next to each other with these just wide, just happy as ever smiles. And like, I was like, Kamala Harris cannot stop talking about how much support she's got from Dick and Liz Cheney. I was like, neocon warmongers, right? Dick Cheney, the guy mostly responsible for the disastrous Bush administration, where we got lied into several wars. We had a torture program. That Dick Cheney, like you're bragging that this guy endorsed you, and I'm supposed to, this former KKK guy goes and endorses Joe Stein. She doesn't. Oh, she's not running around with taking pictures with David Duke and saying, "Oh, thank you, David Duke, for your endorsement." Your person is running around campaigning with Liz Cheney and talking about how Dick Cheney is endorsing her. Right? That you should be ashamed of such things. But Democrats are desperate, man. They're looking for everything, and it's just I think it's diabolical, because at the end of the day, what they were hoping when the DNC swapped out Biden for Harris is that Harris would be able to wash the stink off of the Democratic nominee by being a different person, right? That she would be able to in some way distinguish herself from Joe Biden, which was going to be hard to do since she's been the vice president the last 4 years, right? And so they were like, okay, well, she got an early bump as soon as they announced her, but then I guess she was falling behind, and they needed to start to expose her, have her do stuff. I truly believe they wanted to do the Joe Biden 2020 campaign where you just hide the candidate away, and in 2020 you had COVID as an excuse, so he got over. The country was deeply dissatisfied with Trump, and Biden was able to win the presidency while hardly campaigning at all. I think they tried that for a little while, and then those critics of the administration who want, like myself, let's be clear, who want to tie Harris to what's going on with the genocide in Gaza. She's been second in command. All the true heroes in the Biden administration quit and called out the atrocities that this administration has funded, right? But she's just right. She's just been right there. Hardly spoke out, right? All she does is parrot Israeli Hasbara, their propaganda about what happened on 10/7, stuff that doesn't make sense, stuff that is like, if they had actual evidence of the things that they allege, they would air it openly, right? But they just make stuff up and just expect for you to just swallow it whole, right? And this whole administration has been operating based on those lies, right? It wasn't bad enough that Hamas broke into Israel, took hostages, killed some people, right? They had to make it. They had to up the number of people killed. They had to up the things that happened besides just the killing and the hostage taking. That wasn't good enough for them to do what they were planning on doing, which was to commit this genocide. And to see her just continue those lies, when she became a candidate. When asked on The View last week what would have been different if she was the number one person, she essentially just said, she said really there was nothing. She said, like, what would be different in her administration was she would add a Republican to her administration. It's just like, man, every time somebody asks her a decent question, like, she goes on nothing but friendly interviews to begin with. Whenever they ask her just a decent question, man, she just fumbles the bag, man. It's either a word salad answer, or it's just like, you could just see them like, I mean, they are trying to save this woman, but she has got to be the least talented politician I've ever seen become like the major nominee for one of these parties, right? I'm just thinking about in my life, like the ones I can remember. First opportunity I had to vote was Gore versus Bush, right? And then you had Gore versus Bush, then Bush versus Kerry, Obama McCain, Obama Romney, Clinton Trump, and Biden Trump, and now you have Harris and Trump. And she's by far, of those people I just listed off, she is just the most untalented, unspectacular of them as far as a campaigner. I on Facebook, I was harsh. I said she comes off as a moron, which she does. I mean, because right now you're supposed to be delivering your message. You're supposed to be able to be concise, giving off your policy points, and just knowing, kind of anticipating what questions are going to be asked you. And I just assume that the reason she gives off these word salads is because she had no idea this was coming. I don't know if she thought they were going to ask her what she had for breakfast, what's for dinner or what. I don't know if she just thinks that they're going to give her like a completely friendly, like, let the people get to know you by knowing like that you're a good person, that you like to cook, that you like dogs or what. But like, no, Kamala, you ran in 2020, you left really early. You seem to be trying to steal Bernie's platform when you ran in 2020, and now you've run away from every policy point that you had in 2020. So people want to know who you are. I don't know who this guy was, but I think she did a 60 Minutes interview, and this black guy was just like, he was like, the reason people are trying to are trying to know who you are is because it seems like you've changed like every single one of your positions, right? For fracking, against fracking, for Medicare for all, against Medicare. Like, who are you? And honestly, she is just an empty suit that just really wants to be president. That's it. At the end of the day, just like with this Biden administration right now, where we have somebody whose brain is broken and clearly they're not running the country, that's the same thing we're going to have when she's the president, right? All of her people, all the people behind her, pulling the strings, right? That's what you're going to have. So, again, I thought I'd be able to use the script of just looking at this back and forth I had with this liberal this morning, but my Twitter on my computer wasn't working. But the two major things that are kind of new, and I saw some other people, there's this lady, I think her name is Liz Smith, and she's been making, trying to just like make Joe Stein controversial. And so she posted that today about the David Duke thing. She's also the one in the recent past posted when they abandoned Harris, when Shama Sawana, the abandoned Harris rally, said that we want to, help Harris to lose in Michigan, right? That's the goal, right? And so she used that as, look, Jill Stein is with her, and look, all they're trying to do is make Kamala lose. Yeah, you know what? This ruling party is the Democrats right now. They have the presidency, they have the Senate. Under their watch, they funded a genocide that we watch live stream. You have to kick them out. You have to hope that they lose, right? Until we can get a footing with the Green Party or another third party, we have to hope that power continues to change hands, that we're not providing a mandate for the ruling class. We're saying, both these, this is, I'm trying to remember what George Galloway says, but it's like two cheeks of the same behind, essentially. That's what our ruling parties are. And until we can get a legit third party that is going to be for the people, for peace, for fixing this planet, right? We want to toggle back and forth between those ruling parties to show that there's no mandate. Do you want to provide a mandate for a genocide, for the killing of 240,000 Palestinians? And a lot of the, like again, I say about the diabolical nature of the Democrats' schemes is that it's essentially telling you, forget your conscience and just vote for your own self-interest. And I've been saying to people, is like, your own self-interest is not forgiving a party that would do such a thing. That's your own self-interest, because if they will do it to them, they will do it to you. If you're going out with somebody, you're going on the first date, and this guy or this gal mistreats the waiting staff that's waiting on y'all, that should be the only date you go on. If they show you that they're a horrible person, why would you be going on sex? You want to start to tie yourself to this person romantically, get further involved, that they just mistreat the Uber driver and they screw the wait staff on the tip. That's it. That should be all you need to know. They told you everything you need to know about them. If they will do it to them, they will do it to you, right? And so your own interest is to let Harris lose and just stand on the outside. Don't cheer for this other guy. We've already seen 4 years of him. We know he's no good, but we also know she's no good. She's told us that she will be just like her boss Biden. So why would you provide a mandate for what they've done? That's all the time I have. Hopefully I'll be back on in 2 or 3 days, maybe sooner, depending on if I can figure out this whole showing off my Twitter and just riffing off of that. But I appreciate those of you who will watch. You can provide comments, and I'm sure I'll get to them and answer. Much love.